back in the early days when I was starting my first channel, I would do speeches before I began, and tonight's going to be one of those. I was like, why is that not coming up live? I'm not coming up live on Dragon. Am I live on Dragonstorm? Anyway, yeah. So I used to do little speeches. Tonight you're getting a little bit of. I'm actually co-casting on author Stephen Walton, and I am streaming on Lodonis Dragonstorm because you're gonna get a little bit of both tonight. A little bit of both this evening. And that's because the things that I have discovered as I have gone from doing entertainment commentary and dealing with blue-haired weirdos and people in the media trying to sequester, trying to suppress the mainstream media, the garbage tier media coming after us, spinning false narratives. It's literally smear campaigning fans. You see this in politics right now in the political season. You see this all the time. The lies that are being said, the smear campaigns against a candidate. I mean, those of you that know me know what guy I'm voting for. But the smear campaigns that come at candidates, the flat out lies, narcissism from people who have taken control of our governments, our religious institutions, our media companies, and they all work together. It's all collusion. It's all about Russian collusion. Let's talk about the collusion between the media, politics, entertainments. Let's talk about the narcissists and psychos who run these institutions and consistently smear campaign others, gaslight the public, and then point the finger at anybody who has a problem with what they're saying and calling them racist, sexist, white supremacist, misogynist, systemic this, systemic that. Time to wake up. That's the author side of what we're going to bring tonight. The Dragonstorm side of what we're bringing tonight, and we're going to talk about that on a personal scope. People who, when you are unhealed, first off, when you are an unhealed individual, when you have had shit from your past that you have not dealt with, most likely childhood, you will absolutely resonate like attracting like. You will attract people who are also toxic. You will attract people who also hurt themselves and hurt others. And this is why we bring narcissists, most especially, into our lives. Because you live in cycles of self-defeat when you don't understand yourself, when you haven't faced your abandonment, your codependency, your toxic behaviors, when you project yourself, and everyone projects. Don't get it twisted. We all do. That's why emotional control and calm is so very important, because looking from a third perspective is a difficult thing to do. It is a difficult skill to master, because everyone looks at a certain piece of media or a person or a clip of what someone says. And as soon as they assimilate that into their brain, it goes through the filter of their ego, their experience, who they are. And if you're toxic, it's going to go through those toxic filters that project everything lying, nasty, self-defeating, and horrible about you onto somebody else. We see this all the time. The original Fandom Menace, we were trying to fight this type of behavior in our comics, in our games, in our media, in entertainments. And what ended up happening? Those of you that will have been along that ride over on the author channel, you understand. There were some shining lights. There were some people that shined through, that still fight the good fight. But we see a lot of people kind of fall from grace, or were they ever holding grace in the first place? Do they live in negative cycles? Do they love the negative attention? Do they love going after other YouTubers? Do they love smearing people, stabbing people? Let me tell you this, brothers and sisters, whether it's a full-on narcissist, a person with narcissistic personality disorder, or you're dealing with a toxic piece of shit, anybody who has to gather up others against you is not a strong person. That is a weak move. That is a weak person. If you have to create chat groups, whisper networks, if you have to gather others to co-sign to your narrative, if you've got to poke at somebody or hit at somebody when they are at their lowest, when they are going through something, in order to convince people that your smears and your lies about them are the truth, you are a weak person. This is what the mainstream media does. This is what entertainments do. This is what narcissists do. The mainstream media, just a bunch of flying monkeys. The entertainment media, a bunch of flying monkeys, garbage tier media. They're all a bunch of flying monkeys. They are all continuing the smears against the public and others, any targets of their harassment who do not co-sign to their narrative, their falsehoods, their lies about you. It's the same thing. We're in the same vein here, brothers and sisters. It's the same damn thing. We're going to talk about that tonight. We're going to talk about healing yourself. You're going to talk about how to do that properly and what happens when you can understand yourself, control your emotions, control your passions, and look clearly at the past or the present and see exactly who is who and who's done what. So let's dive right into it, my brothers and sisters. Remember, y'all, we do not kneel.
Let's get this straight now. I never fucked anybody over in my life. Didn't have it coming to it. You got that? All I have in this world is my balls and my word. And I don't break them for no one. Do you understand? Do you want to go on with me? Do say it. You don't? Then you make a move.
What's better than a one-time champ? A two-time champ. A two-time champ say you a redeemer, you a bounce back. That's what's better than a one-time champ. They kicked you when you was down. They kicked you when you was down. The reason why they kicked you when you was down, they didn't see that you was a lion. Sometimes the lion loses the pride. Sometimes the lion loses the pride and gotta go out and find it again. Become a two-time champ. Sometimes the lion loses the pride. They kicked you was down. They did not know that you was a lion. They had lost his pride. Sometimes men lose their pride. Sometimes the lion have to swallow his pride and go out and get another one. This is the champ. That's what this is, a prize fighter. What's better than a one-time champ? A two-time champ. Prize fighters, man. What's better than a two-time champ? A three-time champ. One who's been redeemed. One that then got back up off the canvas. They kicked you when you was down. They did not know that you was a lion that had lost his pride. But guess what? You was in the process of going get it again. See, they don't pick on a lion that got his pride. They can see his kingdom. But sometimes a lion may lose his pride and he may be laying down on the ground. But a lion laying down is camouflage. He gonna look like the dirt. You better watch where you put your foot because that lion will stand up. So they kicked you when you was down, not understanding that you was a lion that had lost his pride, but you was a lion in the process of regaining your lion's share.
What lies beneath your feet? Sacred grounds, watered with tears of blood.
Shall we begin?
Shall we begin? Shall we begin? Told you it doesn't matter what your name is. It doesn't matter what your sign says.
Yeah, you're right.
It doesn't matter who you are in mind. It doesn't matter what her name was.
in Hail the Chat. What's going on, brothers and sisters? Glad to see you here today. I was thinking about doing this live stream for days, and originally it was kind of like so and so was bullshitting, right? So and so was lying. That person that kept telling you in chat groups that I was an awful person and I was this and I was that. They were lying. You figured that out, right? But instead, I wanted to approach this from a more positive perspective. You see, personally, before I get into Hail in the Chat, personally for me, I confuse certain people. I always have, because I can do shadow and light work. I can vacillate between the two. And if I go, what balance is so very key for me, because if I go too far into the shadow, I can get into the toxic realm. I get hyper defensive and hyper aggressive, and I can just act out in ways I don't mean to. And if I go too far to the light, I can go toxic light. There is a toxic side to light, guys. There is a point where you're just so self-righteous that you can't see. You're blinded by, even with good intentions, you're blinded by yourself. So balance is so very key, at least for me, emotional control. And I think emotional control is something that we all should have a grasp of. You see that every toxic person that you've identified as toxic in your life has had an overblown sense of ego or grandiosity, or they had no control over their emotions. They had no control over themselves. They would go into they would spurg out when triggered by something external, or freak out. And there's a lot of reasons for that, and it all stems from some type of unhealed trauma or a toxic perspective. And before I go any further, for those of you in the author audience, because I understand the vein of where I grew up in, as far as YouTube, there are words, you guys should already know this, there are terms and words that have been used by the far left for a long time now, that kind of lost their meaning because you've been gaslit so much. They've been projected upon and used against you for so long. Terms like racist and sexist. These should be words that you look at and you can discern a situation. It should be taken heavily. But we've been gaslit by the media, by the far leftists in Hollywood, by the people who run our comics, industry comics, and gaming. Most especially gaming. Gamergate 2 is crazy. What's going on right now? And they use these terms because they're narcissistic, either the full-blown narcissist or sociopaths, psychos, antisocial, histrionic, any kind of cluster B, cluster F of the toxic person will use those terms inappropriately and gaslight. They gaslight people and they project, and then they use all of their friends, all of their other toxic buddies in the media or on social media to reinforce the bubble. The NPC meme is for real. You guys remember the NPC meme that was struck from Facebook and struck from all the social media platforms because it was so real? When people allow themselves to be put inside this bubble, inside the hive mind, and this is the same exact thing that happens with narcissistic abuse, guys. That's why it was an easy shift for me to go back and forth. When they collect in this hive mind, they allow themselves to be programmed, to be conditioned with trigger words that will instantly create an emotional reactive action, emotional reactivity. And that emotional reactivity just sets a script in their brain that's been preset as they've been inundated with the propaganda in the mainstream media, mainstream outlets, by the YouTubers or by anyone on social media that they follow inside the same bubble, the same thought bubble. And it runs the same script. And it becomes Orange Man bad. It becomes that person does not agree with cross-dressers and out reading books to kids in libraries. They must be homophobic. They use these things. And a lot of the terms that they've used, woke, for instance, woke was actually a good term back in the day, y'all. Now it's used to explain like far left thinking, there's that toxic thinking, extremist thinking. But another one of them is toxic, the word toxic. I was on Snowdub's stream a couple of months ago, and somebody rightfully so asking the question, coming through the chat, and said, isn't toxic like a lefty word? A word that's used to hurt people. I said, no, that was a word that was appropriated. Let me give you an example. The same people who bitch about colonizers, right? Appropriation. Aren't these the same ones who took Star Wars and Star Trek, Doctor Who, Lord of the Rings, some of our favorite games? They took these things, they appropriated them, colonized them with their ideals, then regurgitated them to the public as platforms for socio-political rhetoric. And what happens when you call out, hey, Star Wars ain't the same no more. That's not Luke Skywalker. That's not the feeling of Star Trek. What is this crap? And what do? The people, the creatives, the actors, the media, what do? They call you a white supremacist. They call you a racist or a bigot or a homophobe or whatever, gaslighting you with ridiculousness. And it's all about creating a cycle of negativity and negative fuel. And to a degree, I have to say this: some of the best people in my old indie sphere, in the old fandom menace type indie sphere, use that negative fuel, and they continue it on. Some of the best: Ryan Cannell, Geeks and Gamers, Erotic, Midnight's Edge, to a degree, world class. But I think they're a little different about it. But these channels, these people, these YouTube channels, they understand the rhythm of the negative fuel. They understand how to create that feedback loop. Now, that's something that people who deal with narcissists on a relationship level, or a friendship, or friendship, quote unquote, or in a family dynamic or a relationship dynamic, the only way to deal with them is to go no contact. When you're dealing with the hive mind, the NPCs, they want that negative fuel. That's why they gaslight you. That's why they take things that you love and appropriate them and change them and mutilate them and turn them inside out. And take something as wonderful as Star Trek, with Kurtzman Trek, with ever since from Discovery on. All right, the whole new Trek. It's not Star Trek. They took something that was progressive and in its thinking, that was beautiful, the way that science fiction, the way that they beautifully presented ideals or things that were going on in the world through the lens of science fiction, to open people's minds, to get around your filter, get you to think about these things, about equality. New Trek doesn't do that. What do? They put a black woman who's not even the captain up on there. They completely destroy the Klingons, one of the oldest alien characters, completely destroy them. And then every white dude that comes in the show is a villain or a moron who gets killed. And if you have a problem with just that, I mean, that's just a little snippet of what they did. If you have a problem with just that, what do? Well, it's pretty easy to figure out. You're a racist. You don't like a woman. You have gaslight you. Projection. Because the people working on that Star Trek are the racists. They are the sexists. They are the appropriators. These are the toxic ones. And it's the same thing that happens. It can happen in any sphere. Well, it was so easy for me to transfer over to Dragonstorm to that content wasn't just because I was under constant assault, personally, professionally, publicly, from a narcissist, but also every toxic person that was attached to her, and then every fake friend I had around me. Every single one. Trust me, if you've seen somebody if you've gone through a live stream in the last year and a half, and they've been like F Walton, if you've been in a chat group, they've been like F Walton, guarantee you they're a part of that. And the sick thing about it is it's the same exact mentality that we fought in the industry from the far left. Same mentality. That's why I don't like Comicsgate. Same thing. Recognizing these behaviors in people, that's a simple thing. But healing yourself, that's the hard work. Because if you gather people around you, if you have a friend group that is like really dark in their thinking, that is always talking trash on somebody, that's always coming down on somebody, that's always like negative, most especially if you're around negative Nancy's who want everything from you, but they don't deliver friendship. Dealt with a lot of that in Old Road. Then you are attracting those people for a reason. You're attracting those people for a reason. They don't just find a sucker and then attach themselves to it. These energy vampires, they find people that have abandonment issues, codependency issues, people pleasers, weak boundaries. And it's easy for all of us to go, oh, I'm not like that. It's easy for us to act like that while you're still resonating low, but you could bullshit yourself. We're going to go over that tonight. One of the things I had to learn, bullshitted myself. And that was a hard pill for Dragonstorm to swallow. That was a hard pill for Walton to swallow. When I say suffer no fools, keep it real. You know what I mean? Why do you lie? We can lie to ourselves about who we are and how we see things, about the filter we place upon us. We can lie about these things. So very important to heal, whether you got to go to therapy, whether you can do it, you're strong enough to do it yourself. So very important. So we're going to talk about those things. We are going to talk about when you actually find your balance and your authentic self, when you've integrated, transmuted that negative energy, the awakening that can happen within you. Brothers and sisters out there, if you are not a spiritual person, if you are, agnostic or, what is the other word? If you atheist or whatnot, you can easily translate this into a 3D perspective. We're going to go 3D, 4D, and 5D today. Before we begin, I want to say hail to the chat. So let's say hi. What's up? First off, awesome one over there, Wrench on author Stephen Walton. Dude, what's up, dude? Good to see you. Thank you so much. Got this pinned up there for you guys over there on author Stephen Walton. This is for both channels because these are relative. These are topics that are relative to both of my channels. CJH coming through. What's up, CJ? He says, I hope my second sight will be right. Man, nukes. So that's negative. I'm back to content creation and the road to 5K. Good for you, brother. Congratulations. Keep pushing it forward. What's up? Iman, right? You're Iman. That should be your profile name, right? Good to see you, man. Congrats. Thank you for coming through. What is up? How you doing, Deborah, the Dragonstorm secretary? Good to see you. Erica's in the chat. What is up, Erica? How you doing, boo? Let's see. Words of wisdom. I'm glad I'm back in the game. Yeah, man. Stay in that game, brother. One man show over there from Officer Steve Walton. Greetings and salutations. What's up, my man? Good to see you. Hell. There. Look at that, Zach. I don't even know what channel you're on. You got both my channels. I think you got originals on both my channels. Good to see you, bro. Good to see you. Tina Bojan. Oh, skip forward. I'm sorry. 1 second. I'm sorry, Tina. I didn't mean to skip you. There's one man show. Erica. I saw you, Tina. I'm sorry. I lost you. What is up? Mentioned with Beth. Says, I want the pussy out my lap. Oh, really? Well, look, Jesus Christ. All right. Hey, baby, how you doing? You want that pussy up at your lap? Then you bring it over to Dragonstorm. All right. You're my toxic choo-choo, baby, coming through. Good to see you, Beth. Good to see you, sweetheart. Let's see. Anybody else? Locking Horns. What's up, dude? Guys, if you are not subscribed to Locking Horns, you have a wrench? Hold on. Let me give you a wrench. Please add as moderator. Do me fair, Matt. Go ahead and put your channel link out there, guys. So my old friend Matt, he was a class black belt, first martial arts class I ever took. This man's whooped my ass plenty of times. Beautiful person. He has a great channel on spirituality. He is on Asatru, Nordic spirituality. He also made, I can't grab it. He made the Dragonstorm drinking horn, and I will grab that when I can. All right. Thank you. And thank you, Zach. Greatly appreciate you, my brother. Thank you very, very much. So feel free to DP the stream. Oh man. You go through a situation like narcissistic abuse and hopefully you heal when you come out of it. I coach people, by the way. I am actually a recovery coach. If any of you are interested, please hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. If you're interested in coaching sessions, this is like my new calling. This is something I really love doing, is helping other people. I actually found one of my callings when I was author Stephen Walton and I was working in that vein, in that YouTube sphere. I loved helping people. I loved helping people then because I felt like I couldn't help myself. This is something I lied to myself about. I was a people pleaser and I did have weak boundaries, and I always gave people the benefit of the doubt. When people would come through, there were certain individuals, certain YouTubers I brought under my wing to protect them because they were being attacked by comic skaters. Or basically comic skaters. And I would protect them. There were also people that came in that had friends that, had other friends that were openly hated me, openly couldn't stand me. And I gave them the benefit of the doubt. Well, I guess, well, you're good to me, so I'm going to judge you on that. Listen, one thing I learned, and this should go for everybody. Who a person surrounds himself with is exactly who they are. That's exactly who they are. If you have someone in your life, all right? If you have someone in your life that is telling you one thing, is your friend and telling you one thing, but they hang out with people that hate you. Okay, there is a 5%. first off, go with your intuition, but there is a very, very large chance that that person is a double agent. That person does not have your best interest at heart. Some of those people are informants. You all know what I mean. You got those certain friends that are informants for your enemies, and they will show they ass. They will when you fall, when they can't use you, when they can't manipulate you, when they can't lie to you, they will show their ass. They will stab you. They will wait for the perfect moment to stab you, take what you built, destroy you, talk trash about you, all the little cluster of hateful biddies and manginas. They will do this. We learn this when we go through narc abuse because narcissists are like the extreme. Not psychopaths, actually, I think are more extreme, but narcissists are like the creme de la creme when it comes to shitty people. When you deal with that, no matter how long you have dealt with it, it could have been your whole life. I was raised by a narcissist. I didn't even know I was raised by a narcissist until after I actually spent some time with him, after I had healed and after I had educated myself. I was toward the end of my healing. And I like and understand, we all throughout life, we always face things. I may not be completely healed. I may get to a point where I find something else and I'm like, okay, I've got to fix this in myself. We all go through this. It's the journey that matters. It's continuing to work on yourself that matters. I didn't even know he was until I had to sit in the car with him and gray rock him. I didn't even know what that is. For those of you that don't know, gray rocking is when you are with a toxic person or a narcissistic person that is trying to get emotional reactivity out of you so that they have a sense of control because their grandiosity, their false self demands it. That's why you see a lot of these people. That's the very same reason why you see these game journalists, these people that are working at like EA and these companies that are falling apart. The same reason why people at Disney for years, I mean, they still do it, but people at Disney for years were projecting that you were a racist or a sexist because you were criticizing why their entertainment was so bad. It's all about gaslighting, creating a cognitive fog. They project that upon you. And when they try and project it upon you, you have no choice. If you are in a place where you can't get away from them, you have to gray rock. Act like it don't matter. It don't bother you. Even if it bothers you, you don't bother me. There are people out there on Twitter who still do this. Twitter, by the way, the reason you don't see me on Twitter all that much is because Twitter is a negative space. A lot of low vibrational people, a lot of 3D people that love conflict, love drama, love fighting with people, love trolling people. That's animalistic, low behavior. It is what it is. That's like if you want to stay in the muck, you want to stay in the swamp, then you go right ahead and you play in the swamp. Some people are really good at it. Some people are good at it. Master of TDS, excellent. Guys, follow Master of TDS if you're on X. He's great at it. He works in the mental health industry. And he knows how to just completely infuriate toxic people who are projecting and spewing word salad. And that you can make a living off. Look at Geeks and Gamers. You can make a living off doing that. You absolutely can. But when it comes to personal relationships, why? You don't do it. You remove those people from your life. Everyone that you have in your social group, everyone around you adds to your energy. You're exchanging energy with those people. You're exchanging time, thought, your feelings, the very energy of what you were trying to do. That's why people like Zax. All right, Zax is a good example of someone who surrounds himself with the best. Surrounds those people that are having a good time, laughing. They can talk about serious matters. They have that moral compass, but they're getting on there to clown, have fun, make jokes. Like that's a great example of a good sphere of people working together. And who you work with matters. You could be the most talented. Listen, you could be the most talented YouTuber. I've known YouTubers that I have worked with in the past that I know have a lot of talent, but they choose to surround themselves with low vibrational, toxic, shit talking, backstabbing people. And that's going to keep you in this. That's going to keep you in the swamp. That's why you don't grow, because you're surrounding yourself with these low vibrational people. You're not going to exceed. You're not going to succeed. You can to an extent if you're around someone who's very grandiose, like an Ethan Van Sciver. He gets that attention. He attracts negative people. But look at his chats: shit talkers, laughing at people's pain, making fun of people, doxing people, harassing people. If you want to live in a Jerry Springer show, you go right ahead. You do that. That's not where I want to rest my. That's not where I want to rest my time, rest my mind. I don't want to. I don't want to. The same reason I don't go to chats like that is the same reason I don't watch the mainstream media. It's all low. Same reason I don't go on X that much. It's all low vibrational. It is just damaged people sustaining their own damage, confirming their own biases. It's basically stroking yourself off, is what it is. It's not pushing the envelope in yourself to be a better person. I was raised by a narcissistic father, so I understood a lot of the triggers that were in me came from that. The fight or flight mechanism that was inverted in me. That happens to a lot of people when they go through an abusive childhood. It happens to a lot of people when they're damaged. You have this reverse fight or flight. You fight for the things that don't matter, and you run from the things that do. I did that. People pleasers. I had people pleasing in me because I'm constantly fighting for the attention. I have mother and father wounds. Constantly fighting for the attention of others, or blaming myself for what other people did to me because of abandonment from mom, because of the abuse that I suffered from dad. If you're a people pleaser, you're going to keep accepting things from other people. You're going to blame yourself for shit that is not your fault. And if you have these conditions, if you have this damage, this unresolved issues in you, you will keep people around that you know will backstab you, that you know are lying to you, because that's what you're used to being around. That's the foundation of who you are. It's the same reason why you see it's the very same reason why Disney Lucasfilm hires who they hire, right? They're run by a damaged woman. Imagine Kathleen Kennedy, right? Had this fake ass face on for her whole career around all these wonderful creators, George Lucas, Spielberg, around all these running coffee, and also securing sets. She did secure shooting locations. So she was a bitch in that way. But I guess you have to be kind of a bitch, an aggressive bitch in order to get some of those things done. And that's fine. But what happened the moment that George said, I'm giving this to Kathleen? What did she do? She immediately began projecting herself on screen with all those characters. Strange how all the movies got characters with that are women with brown hair, isn't it? Projection. She hired people around her to create an echo chamber of far left rhetoric. People who were toxic. People who are racist and sexist and bigoted, pointing the finger outward at everybody else going racist, sexist, bigot. Creating problems for which there was no solution. Creating problems. This is a toxic thing, whether you're a narcissist or a psycho or whatever you are. Creating problems for which there is no solutions. This is what Democrats do. This is what certain political parties do. When you create a problem for which there is no solution, then you just anger everybody. You create a whole bunch of emotional reactivity. That's what they're looking for. That's all they want. That feeds their grandiosity. They're twirling their mustache like a cartoon villain, making everybody freak out, playing the puppet master. Narcissistic behavior. It's like John Delarose out there bitching about Ethan was coming after my family since 2018 while he's out there smear campaigning, doing weekly segments about people to smear their name, character assassinations, looking at them in private. But he's virtuous, right? But JDA is virtuous. No, he's a narcissist. These people cluster together in crews where you see one toxic person, there's probably 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Same thing in the industry. Same thing in Hollywood. It's the same thing in politics. The same thing in the media. It's the same thing in the gaming industry and the comics industry. They gather together like covens of energy vampires. Fucking hell's clowns in a burning circus of what the hell. That's what they do. And the same thing happens in your social life. And if you don't heal yourself properly, if you don't do the dirty work, the shadow work, the grimy work, if you don't go through those nights, I mean, not just healing from what a narcissist or what an abusive relationship did to you. And trust me, people who abuse you in a relationship are narcissistic at best. They have narcissism. They are displaying they put your hands on you. If they cheating on you, they lying to you. They ain't appreciate anything you've done. That's narcissistic. All of them. If they enact in those toxic ways, even if you have to heal from just that, you got to look deeper, because there's a reason that you looked for groups that reinforced your negative bias. There's a reason for why you subconsciously sought someone who was going to stab you, betray you, use you, because cycles of self-defeat. When you live with your damage, when you don't heal the wounds within you, mother wounds, father wounds, whatever it is that gave you those wounds, if you don't heal them properly, and I'm not talking about wartime PTSD, I'm not talking about these types of adult wounds, that's a whole other bag. I'm talking about your childhood wounds. If you don't heal them properly, and what I mean by healing them properly is facing that fear and integrating it into yourself, facing it what it is about you that you may not like and you didn't want to face. Trust and believe, Walton, for the last 2 years, while I was under smear campaigns, while YouTubers were attacking my name, while chat groups were coming at my friends and going, you shouldn't talk to him, he's bad, you shouldn't talk. While this was going on, because all of these toxic people, y'all from Dragonstorm will understand what I'm saying right now, all of these toxic people recognized the person under duress being abused and wanted to jump on the bandwagon, because either they already hated that person or they couldn't manipulate and use that person no more. Time and time again, I've had people come to me and go, so-and-so saw you say something on a live stream or make a video and swears you're talking about them. I wasn't talking about y'all. I wasn't talking about none of y'all. But you saw yourself in it. That's the problem. You're the problem. And that goes for any of us. We all project. If you see something in the media, if you see somebody does something or a quote or anything, and you become hyper emotional, hyper defensive, and you begin summoning ways to attack that person, that's your problem. You're projecting. That's unhealed damage. Being properly healed is not being an angry person. If you're angry all the time, you're not healed. You're defensive all the time, you ain't healed. If you say, I can never get into another relationship because I can't trust nobody, you ain't healed. Healing is finding balance. It's facing the fears within you. It is facing the things you didn't want to face. It's understanding that when something happens to you early in life and you don't face it, then you begin to year after year stack these reasons on top of it. When you start stacking Band-Aids on top of a wound like that, you put Band-Aids on a broken bone or you're stabbed in the liver, you're throwing Band-Aids on year after year, you ain't healed the wound. And eventually those layers in your mind create triggers. You ever go through a situation or see something and you're just like, you triggered? That's another word them far leftists took that actually does mean something. Triggers, we do have triggers if you are unhealed. You'll be triggered by something and you'll just start hating for no reason or start feeling bad or start feeling sad because there's something unhealed within you. And when you leave something unhealed for that long, it creates subconscious thoughts, scripts in your mind. It does. And those scripts can create entirely different filters. You get triggered properly with something that's unhealed, you are then at that point going to see the world from a lens that is not your own, that is not authentic, that is fashioned to protect your fear. That was hard as shit for me to face over and over again, to realize that. Hard. We all do it. But when you face those fears and you start untangling that mess inside of you, then you are going to be able, through the nightmares, through the sleepless nights, through the pain that you've got to look at, through the pills you have to swallow about your own behavior that you have sweared time and again you're not like or you don't like, whatever the case is, you're going to get to a point where you integrate that into yourself. It becomes wisdom and you find authenticity and you can see things clearly. Self-mastery is key. And this creates a spiritual awakening. The more authentic you become, the more closer to whatever you call it, God's source, whatever it is that you identify with the collective consciousness, with the energy field, the force that is God. Force exists, y'all. The closer you become, the closer you come to that, to your own authenticity, the wiser you become, well, not only are you going to see things better, not only are you going to see things more clearly when you have control over your emotions and you have balance and authenticity and integrity, but all that work's going to mean something. That doesn't mean challenges are going to stop. I don't mean challenges are going to stop in your life. You're going to get more challenges because now you're ready for the next level. But another thing that's going to happen is people are going to fall away from your life. I'm going to get to the chat in a minute here, y'all. I love y'all. You're going to get to a point where people just don't belong in your life no more. See, when you're angry and you're unhealed and you're whatever the case is, codependency, people pleasing, weak boundaries, whatever the case, fight or flight, whatever the case is. There were people that you brought into your life, like the ones that abused you, like the ones that took advantage of you, like the liars, backstabbers, narcissists, whatever they are. They don't fit no more. You're not on that frequency no more. You're elevated. You're on a higher frequency now. And they just don't belong. That's why some people only come through your life for a season. I'm not saying it's the only reason, but that's one of the reasons. They don't fit anymore. They don't work with the matrix of who you are anymore. And sometimes we can miss those people, yeah. You ever see the meme? It's a meme. It's the guy from, oh God, I can't remember the actor's name. There's a meme where it's like this dude's looking around like befuddled, and it says, when you go back to your old friend group after you've healed and you realize you don't fit no more. Like, that's what that is. They don't fit no more. And that's okay. Because maybe they got their own journey to go on. Knowing yourself, integrating that, creating that is a spiritual awakening, guys. You hit new levels. Y'all in Dragonstorm know I've talked about this a lot. Over on Author Steve Walton, I haven't talked about this a lot. I'm psychic, always have been. My mother's a psychic. My family's, a lot of them. I have gone through points at this by this time where I've had full-on telepathic conversations with somebody. And that's crazy. Like, to me, that would be like, I had no idea that could even be a thing. And I've been doing that. I hear my spirit team now. It's crazy. You go through evolutions as you grow, but the what you have to do, no matter what or how that manifests within you, it all comes down to integrating that wisdom, facing your fears, looking at them, accepting it, understanding it, not delving too far, because sometimes the simple answer is the answer, but turning that into wisdom and integrating that into yourself. You will grow stronger. You'll grow stronger as a person. It's a beautiful thing. Now, let's talk. Yeah, there's a full moon tonight, guys. If anybody, since I'm going into spiritual topics, we got a full moon in Pisces right now. We also have an alignment with Neptune. So please pay attention to the dreams that you're going to have. They're going to be prophetic over the next few days. If you're writing a dream journal, please make sure to write things out in your dream journal, because there's going to be a lot of intuitive inspiration that are going to happen for you, whether they come most likely coming through in dreams over the next several days. So let's go back. I want to say hi to a few people. I want to go through because you all been talking. Let's see. We'll start with CJ. CJ says, my narc friend has been trying to get me to react to political comments, but I'm not biting the bait. I'm just sending him funny memes. That's good. That's right. So yeah, it don't matter. Politics right now, understand. I don't want to get too much into politics. What I will say is there is a draconian institution that, in my opinion, runs both parties. It's not them. The politicians are puppets to the people who pull the purse strings. That's how I look at it. But there's one outsider that came in around 2016 and upset the entire matrix. If y'all remember, think clearly. Put aside your political affiliation. Put aside your prejudices and the conditioning from the media. Please do this for a moment and look back at the timeline since 2016. Look at how the world went ape shit. Look at how the whole world collectively hated somebody that they had always loved because he had always given them money. Think about the epidemic that never happened. I don't know about you, but I'm still waiting for the bodies piled up on the street from the epidemic that supposedly happened. And I'm kind of wondering why motherfuckers are dropping the heart attacks after being told they had to take this poison that was a cure for something that didn't freaking exist. Think about everything that happened in 2020 with the election. Why were the counters removed? Why were thousands, hundreds of thousands of votes everywhere just showed up out of nowhere in the middle of the night when the projections already said one person had won? And then think about the difference between how much you pay for gas and food, your bills, how much money you're making as compared to what you're spending. The differences since 2020. And then turn around and look at the commercials and the ads that are coming out right now and the promises that are being made and the fingers that are being pointed and the comparisons that are being made. And they all wrong. They all wrong. All of them. Politics is a game run by elitists who are narcissistic at best and don't give a damn about you. Damn, they don't give a damn. I don't know about you, but I was making money from 2016 to 2020, at least 2017 to 22, well, before the coup. I was making money. My bills were paid. I had money. And they're not trying to say that somebody, the same person that was running the country then, is going to take your money. That they're going to not give tax breaks to the rich and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. No, that's what the Democrats did. That's what they did. That's what they've been doing. Wake up. Now listen, all I'm saying, and don't revert, don't let yourself revert back to a Republican Democrat thing, because listen to what Dragonstorm is saying. Both parties are run by the same purse strings. What I'm saying is someone outside the system, the systemic system we have dealt with for decades that has gotten worse and worse. One of these things may not be like the others. You know what I mean? Politics is a great example of people, especially narcissistic people, who use these as vehicles to create emotional reactivity. It's same thing with religion. The same thing with religion. I mean, my Dragonstorm people understand. Y'all understand how many preachers and priests and religious folk are the most condemning, elitist, black and white thinking, horrible projecting. If you don't believe that my God has a bigger dick than your God, you're just icky. Religious narcissism is a thing. Anybody who uses beliefs in order to belittle someone else is a narcissist. If they cut you out, if they got a problem with you because you don't pray the way that they pray, even if they don't realize it, that's narcissism. I don't think that the great religious leaders of our time, I don't think that that Yahshua, I don't think Yahshua was like, love thy neighbor. But if they don't pray the right way, you need to cut off their head. You need to burn them at the stake. You need to push them out the social group. I don't think Yahshua was down with that. I'm just saying. I ain't a Christian. But I'm saying, like, I don't, from the outside looking in, I don't see it. And it's the same thing with politics, religion. God, they love those two things. That's why, like, you don't have a civil conversation about politics or religion. That's why a lot of narcissistic, fake-ass, selfish, grandiose, awful people are in those institutions. And it's the same exact thing with social justice. So you're extremists. You're extremists on either side, far right, far left. Like, just because the far left is taking over the entire landscape, don't mean the far right don't exist. Like, they still fucking exist. They're just not the popular bigots at the moment. The far left are the popular bigots. The cool kids crowd, that is where you will find the most destructive people. Anyone who claims to be the cool kids crowd, that's the most destructive group. That's a group of people who think in an echo chamber. Watch yourself. You had to change your name again? Oh, okay. All right, my brother. Yeah, split lip. Now, I'm gonna call you Matt. I'm always gonna call you Matt. You're my brother. I wonder why Steve. Oh, okay. I don't know. I'm not going there. Let's go ahead a little bit. What does it take to be a better man or woman if you can't recognize what it takes to be good? Your moral compasses can be skewed, locking horns, very easily with narcissists, psychopaths, sociopaths, antisocial, histrionic, any of those toxic, well, the cluster Bs, but there's more types than that, but especially the cluster B disorders. The moral compass is backwards. Good is bad, bad is good, lies are truth, truth are lies. All right. You get a group of toxic people together who watch somebody's content that one of them don't like, or the echo chamber don't like. And they're like, he's talking about us. Tonight, I definitely was. Tonight, there was a couple times I'll absolutely talk about you. But like, they'll look at something and they'll be like, he's talking about us. And that's because they need that negativity. They need that attention. Toxic people, right is wrong, right, good is bad, bad is good. Toxic people need a conflict. And the reason that toxic people need conflict is because they cannot face the conflict within. They can't face who they are. They need to project upon someone else who they are. This is why you have far leftists. This is why you have like your garbage tier media, your mainstream media. This is why you have politicians. It's why you have these types pointing a finger at you and going, if you don't like 82 genders, then it's because you're transphobic. No, you're batshit crazy and out of your mind trying to gaslight everybody and trying to make something real that is not real. But if you don't succumb to their narrative, you are an other. You are outside of the box. And the whole reason that they're creating this batshit narrative, the word salad and gaslighting, is to simply create conflict. Because when you get upset at someone else's bullshit, unnecessary dramatic bullshit, then they feel as though they have a sense of control over you. Those who cannot recognize that behavior within themselves, they have a skewed moral compass. They ain't thinking right. You're thinking in black and white terms. You're thinking that you're the victim. You're thinking that that it's your right to harass someone else in their life because you ain't dealing with your shit. Because that's how you need. It all comes down to grandiosity, Lock and Horns. If you are so grandiose, if you're so grandiose that you need to believe that everybody's beneath you, religious narcissists do this. People, if you don't pray to the same God in the same way on the same days, use the same stuff that I do, then you're icky and you're below me. The same thing with social groups. The same thing with political groups. That's toxic. It's narcissistic behavior. And sometimes to be a good person, you have to recognize your own toxic behaviors. You've like I said, you got to look at that in yourself. You got to transmute that into something else. Take that next step. Take that next climb. Go up the ladder into the 4D. Connect yourself to source through your own authenticity. It's a difficult thing to do. It's not an easy road. And that's why weak people stay toxic. That's why weak people keep pointing the finger and going racist, sexist, bigot. You don't like our horrible game that is in no way as good as any previous game, and it's also injected with a bunch of our stupid far leftist ideology. You don't like that because you're a bigot. You know what I mean? Like, they're the problem. It's hard for someone like that. It is difficult. It's hard for anybody. It's hard for anybody to look at themselves and go through that transformation and go down into the swamp, into the nasty parts of you and go, damn it. I preached all the time, keep it real or keep it moving, only to realize that if I was emotionally triggered in a certain way by a certain type of thing, that I could change my entire way of looking at everything, my perception, like a kaleidoscope, just shift it to make everything fit a narrative. It's hard to do that work. To unfuck yourself and to fix yourself like that. It's difficult. That's the hard work that good people do. Recognize it. Face your fear. Face that fear. Face that truth. Recognize it. Turn it into wisdom and transmute it into yourself. That's a difficult thing to do. It's not for everybody. Sabub says, first time in my life where I'm in control. Have to say it's different. Isn't it different? Bro, it is so different. It's so different. So like when I was like more angry and unhealed, like I wanted to get some type of revenge, or I wanted to expose the many people, wasn't just a couple, it was many people who called themselves my friend, who I worked with, who, like that just stabbed me as soon as they couldn't use me no more, they stabbed me. started talking trash, convincing other people that I was like they are. You know, it's hard. But you get to a certain point, when you have that control, you get to that point where it's like, it ain't worth it. People like that expose themselves. You just keep on trucking. You keep working on yourself. Keep doing what you do. Because going back, that's going backwards. It's going backwards. You came up out of that. You rose from that like a phoenix. Became a better version of yourself. Those are lower vibrational creatures. They're goblins. You don't want to go back down with the goblins. You want to keep climbing. It is different. But it's beautiful, isn't it, though, brother? It's beautiful. And the real work, when you're being consistent and being dedicated to who you are and being authentic and continuing to work and be who you were, that shines through. It shines through. You cannot convince people who are refusing to heal, low vibrational gremlins. You cannot convince them that you are who you are because they can't see it. They can't see it. They can't see it in themselves. They can't see their own negative behavior. They justify it. They still in groups. They still in clusters of freaking, there's still clusters of trolls talking trash, laughing at, making fun of other people because they're insecure. The weakness. And my brother, Iman, the isolation process after we went through narcissistic abuse, when you have to further isolate from everything after you've been cut off from your support systems by the narcissist, by design, by them, it's a lonely road. It's a lonely time. But you know what? You come out of that lonely time and you realize just how strong you are. You realize your own strength. That is control. That is control over you. It's a beautiful thing. I don't need a crew. Trust and believe. When you see anybody working with me that I choose to work with on any screen, I don't visit other people's streams all that much. That's a rare ass thing. But by the way, beginning this week after Rogue Entertainment on author Stephen Walton, I am going to be a steady panelist on Aluminum Spork on Sporking News Podcast, because that's one of the realest motherfuckers in the game. And that is my boy. And I'm going to be on that panel hanging out with him. Anybody that you see me, Walton, with, anybody that you see Walton have on his screen with him on his channels, they're vetted. I understand. I trust that. Once or twice, I might have somebody through that I'm not sure about yet. You might see that one, but most often, 99% of the time, you're only going to see people that I know are decent, are good people. Not like it was in the past. Christ almighty. Huh. Got 3 years of content on author Stephen Walton with a lot of them are toxic, horrible, backstabbing, two-faced, lying-ass trolls. I was unhealed. So you get that control, you feel better about yourself, man, and you can discern who is worth what. Don't talk about Daisy. Hold on. I don't think I have any clips about Daisy. Yeah, why can't I hit the damn button? All right, hold on. I'm trying to change. Why can't I? Damn it, I want to bring up CJ because you're talking about Daisy Ridley. I see it. At 8:40. He said Daisy Ridley broke through the programming apparently, though. Good. Because I love I don't know what happened. Okay. I don't know what happened. We're talking about Daisy. Hold on. I'm sorry. I can't even edit it out. I hate when that happens. All right. I lost it. But yeah, I hope so with Daisy. One man show says dreams require sleep. I don't do that very well. I don't know. I mean, I'm sorry. Take some melatonin. Maybe. Not sure. Eastland, what's up, baby girl? Good to see you. My dad was a narcissist for sure. My sister might be a narcissist abuser or might be something else. My sister need not be a narcissist to be abusive or rude. No, because you're raised by a narcissist, you can have one of many different types of conditions. If you're lucky enough to get through it like I did, well, I was a little batshit. I'm still a little batshit, but I don't mind. It's controllable. But yeah, I mean, the severity of it. I've been coaching people who, they came out like cluster B personality disorders, man. They come out like BPDs, borderline personality, borderlines scare the shit out of me. Having sex with one right now. Borderline scare the shit out of me. And because they can be abusive too, but they don't mean to. Everyone in that disorder group has a different they do things, but they do almost the same things, almost, not all, but for different reasons, so like BPDs, they have a fight or flight mechanism that's all messed up. It's in reverse. And they kind of hate people because they love them and love them because they hate them. And they get a very emotional, they're very deep with their emotions. So they'll like ghost you or triangulate you. They will do like that narcissistic shit, but it's not because they're trying to get fuel from you. It's not because they're grandiose. It's because they're insecure. They're hurt. But they can be abusive. Narcissistic borderlines are a thing. Sociopathic borderlines are a thing. But she could be a narcissist. I've talked to people who, like, I've been coaching people who have that family. They have narcissists in their family, and then they have like siblings who are abusive, the golden child, and so forth. And it is entirely possible. The only thing you can do is protect your peace. You know who you are, and if you got to work with that family at some point, just know how to gray rock them. Understand what you're dealing with. Understand what you're dealing with, and that's the best way to be, sweetheart. Protecting your peace is paramount. Satan's setting up for the Antichrist, and so I can work with this. I can work with this. All right, my Christian brother. All right. Although I don't look at things the same way as you do, I understand what you're saying. We are coming to the end of an age. We absolutely are. I don't believe the world's going to end. And if you like that, actually, the guy that Scott Clark, somebody that I work with, he loves Christian mythos, and you guys would probably meet right up. But we are coming to an end of an age. We're coming from Pisces into Aquarius, and we have been in a very toxic, as far as spirituality, a very toxic era. Toxic masculine, and we're going to be going into a healthy masculine, spiritually, era. And because we are at the end of this, there is a war going on. I think you see, everybody can see it. You can see it with the way that the media has gone from reporting news, like at least 50% reporting news. Let's not forget the newsreels of the early 1900s, but to like full on propaganda and the destabilization of our society. Like the thing with the people eating cats in Ohio, right? We're talking about this on road. That's completely to destabilize and demoralize people. That is a narcissist, Joe Biden, pedo sex offender, Epstein Island psycho, who is not even running things at this point because he's inept. But the system around him doing everything that it can to destabilize our country. Let as many illegal. They were doing this before 2016, and they did it as soon as they came into power again in 2020, with the just reckless illegal immigration. You take these people that are from an entirely different culture, a third world country, and you put them in a first world setting, and then they act third world barbaric, which is what they're used to. It's not necessarily their fault. It's the failure of the Haitian government. It's the failure of that society. But you take them and you transplant them to an entirely different world. And what are they doing? They're running around and fucking eating geese and cats and shit. They're running around and eating whatever's available, because that's what they were doing back there. That's what they're doing in Haiti, right? That's it. But for here, it's totally it's not the same. That's not how we live. That's not how we live. Although the government absolutely is trying to push us to that point. Have you seen your food bill lately? Democrat. So the whole reason for that is to demoralize Springfield, Ohio. Not only that, but creating a problem for which there is no solution. Narcissistic. Creating a problem for which there is no solution, so that people on the outside who are conditioned, the NPCs, that, it's like this, bro. On my Facebook, on my timeline, I saw friends and family. I didn't grow up a leftist in, leftist Northeast. And so a lot of my family and friends are still stuck in the matrix. And they were putting all these like marked safe. My pets are marked safe from being eaten. And I'm just dying laughing for a couple reasons. The ridiculousness of it. There's the pure ridiculousness of it. I'm laughing at that. But the more serious aspect of it is like you are really making a joke of something that is harming people. So these, so I love my mom and I love like my friends that I still interact with that, claim to have progressive values. But like you talk consistently about, how the left is about for the people and equality and, understanding and unity and this and that. But you're making a complete joke of the legitimate destabilization that is happening in Springfield, Ohio, because of your political side's practices, shoveling these people there, and don't even care. They don't care. They really don't care. But it's because it's like we consciously understand, those of us who are aware, who are paying attention to what the Matrix is doing, like we understand with as little bias as we can have. We have to understand that it's a tough thing too. Just like toxic people with unhealed wounds cannot decondition themselves, cannot look inward. People who have been consuming the mainstream media and believe the narratives they have been told for how many years now, they can't break that mold. They're conditioned. They're conditioned. They can't see it. This is the world. This is the dualistic, contradictory information that's happening in the real world, right? The way they see things and what's going on. And there's no breaking that wall. They really believe that they are righteous, not totally against racism and sexism and accepting of anyone's sexuality, and want to see everyone unified and want to see everybody respected. They really do believe that they hold those values while legitimately making fun of to what they consider erroneous idea that reality is happening. And all because they have been programmed for years that whatever the orange man says is wrong. Whatever orange man says is not the truth. It must be a lie. Hitler. You know what I mean? Like that's they can't get through it. That's a cognitive dissonance that's been set in by consuming mainstream media, by staying in an echo chamber, by being conditioned into a hive mind. And so I'm looking at that and I'm just like, this is funny. And I wrote it in such a way that they actually laughed. Like my mom, like my stepmom and my friends, like they were just like, ha ha ha, they give the laughing emojis. And I'm like, yeah, but like I am laughing with you, but at you at the same time. Because that's the response I expected from you. Because you don't see it. You don't understand. You ain't digging deeper. The orange man said this. Ha 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 ha. It must be a lie. Ha 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 ha. Like that's what I think. It is the same exact thing with every person in every other segment of our society who have allowed themselves to be conditioned. People that look at all the awful shit that people in Comicsgate have done, but they're still like, Comicsgate is great. This is a great. They are fighting the system. It's like, no, you're NPCs. You're stuck. You can't. Reality's here. What's going on? And it's not breaking the wall. That dude is a narcissist. That dude has been destroying people. That dude has been making sure that certain comics don't make it, character assassinations on anybody who doesn't kiss his ass and believe his narrative. I've been a target. He says sent his whisper networks. He has sent people against them to destroy their character, to come at them in private, to destroy and defame them. It's like same thing that Delarose does. The same thing that fucking, I don't know if Bounty in the comics does it, but I would fucking trust and believe that they do. They're religious narcissists. To trust them, John Trent. That's why he's tongue punching EVS and Delarose's ass. They're all narcissists. Same thing like in our government. Same thing in religion. Same thing in social justice. In the different social areas, same thing. That's why they all collect together. The garbage collects itself. And the problem at this time is people who are healed or have been healing or have incarnated to heal, to help lead and guide others, people who are trying to attain Christ consciousness. They are the ones that are fighting the tide. We're all here. We're all of us. I don't care what your faith is. Like, if you're a good person and you're trying to keep morals alive and trying to keep us on a right trajectory of being, the growth of humanity, that old Gene Roddenberry Trek future, where you are the sum of your character and not what you look like or where you come from. We're together. We're on the battlefield together, fighting literal Satanists. These are Luciferians, all of them, all these selfish and toxic people that are doing it in every segment, that are attacking others if they don't bend the knee to their false narratives, their delusions, their grandiosity. It's the same thing. It's so that's what we are fighting. This is the thing, Awesome One, from my perspective, from the way I look at spirituality. Because we are transitioning into another age, the devil knows that he's gonna lose. Evil knows they're gonna lose. That's why we're seeing a ratcheting up. So look at like the devil as like the ultimate narcissist, right? He's the ultimate narcissist. Fear about himself, false projection, false grandiosity, manipulates people, lies to them, tries to control them, make them spread damage, make them do evil, make them go into their shadow self and do the worst of the worst. Like that's the devil. That's not Lucifer, but that's the devil, right? That's the ultimate narcissist. So the devil and God are sitting in a chessboard. They're playing chess, and God's gonna win. God's gonna win. The only thing the devil's trying to do right now is keep him as many moves as he can out of checkmate. That's the only thing. And that is why we have seen the destabilization in our world that we have, the rise in personality disorders. Listen, I am not against, this is the thing. I had already dealt with the whole gender dysphoria, transgender thing in my life before we had one as the first lady. Okay. I had already been dealt with this in my life. Because I had an aunt or an uncle who turned into an aunt. You know what I mean? Like, and I saw the issues involved around that person's life and the harassment and the shit that person went through. I was already there. It was when Big Mike came into office. Y'all remember when Big Mike was the first lady? It was at that time that all the bathroom debate happened, and there was all this unnecessary stuff that was stirred up. And now we're seeing the direct attack, the direct attack by these psychos running our local and federal government that are pushing into our educational system these ludicrous ideas to confuse the mind, to confuse developing minds, also to harass under the threat of, everything from being publicly ostracized and defamed to losing your job if you don't support the narrative that a teenager who is trying to find themselves, a young person trying to find themselves, knows definitively at age fucking 14 or 13 that they're not a boy, they're a girl, after all the gaslighting and conditioning from the media and all the social pressure and all of the indoctrination that's coming in through our educational system, public education systems, all the virtue signaling that happens from other people with fucking disorders. That is to further destabilize our country, but it's creating a problem for which there is no solution. It's Awesome One. Let's be real. How many times, for those of us who have been awake and aware, are we now seeing the reports years later from people who hit their 20s and realize, oh my God, I'm not actually a girl, I am a boy, or vice versa. and have to go through trying to reverse the damage that was done to them while they were developing. That person's going to be effed up for the rest of their lives. They're going to have to fight that trauma. They're going to have to fight that for the rest of their lives. Their parents failed them. Society failed them. This is on purpose. And I've always said, like, I do maintain that a lot of this has to do with making children more accessible to perverts. But another aspect of it is the devil trying to keep the game going, trying to keep that chess game going by damaging more and more people, creating disorders, creating problems for which there is no solution. And that's the age we live in right now, brother. I don't care if you believe in Christ, Muhammad, Yahweh, whatever, Odin, whatever way you look at the divine, Lord and Lady, for my Wiccans out there, hail. No matter how you look at it, we're on the same team. We're all fighting evil. Evil don't have a name. Evil exists. And we see it all the time. And the way that evil works is by lying and gaslighting and distorting information, by taking a grain of truth and framing what they need to around it in order to condition you to believe their lies, to hurt you, so that you see things from a skewed perspective. Bro, I love you, brother. Let's see. Go down. I'm gonna jump down a little bit. So let's see. Yeah, my stream it died for a second, but then it was my own fault. It was my own fault. I'm gonna go for it. What's up? Oh shit! Gap After Dark. Hey, my old rogue moderator. What's going on, dude? Good to see you. Your tree says hello, huh? I don't understand. I do not have sex with trees. I have never had sex with trees. I do not put coffee up my ass. Matter of fact, I don't do nothing with my ass. And I'll tell you this, Gap. I'll tell you this. The most successful video that I have ever done to date wasn't even on author Stephen Walton. It's on Dragonstorm TikTok. And it's about male narcissists putting things in their ass. I don't understand. Gap, I don't understand. Listen, I don't understand. I don't understand how people like you and people who love me, love my old channel or my first channel. I don't understand how y'all been talking about me putting things in my ass forever. Coffee and trees and whatever the fuck, I don't know, whatever the fuck y'all been doing. Listen, I don't put things in my ass, but y'all been talking about this for years. And then the most successful video that I have is about dudes putting things in their ass. You know how to hurt my fifis? You understand, Gap? You understand how to hurt my fifis, man? That's my legacy right now. I'm trying to make a video that has more hits than that. I'm trying, bro. But that's it. That's it. Steve Walton said that male narcissists put things up their ass. It's heading toward 1 million views. All right. So I just want to say that all the shit that y'all been talking at me for years has manifested itself like a curse in my life. So that the one thing people know me the most about me, this face about, is me talking about toxic dudes putting things in their ass. That ain't right. That ain't right. That's not what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a hero. Okay? I wanted to fight the far left and fight for our modern myths. That's what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to help heal people who have been through abusive relationships. Okay? I wanted to help them understand themselves and come to balance and heal. But no, I can't do that. I'm the guy that said, dudes put things in their ass are toxic. And you know what's even more insane? There are tons of motherfuckers out there, tons of women. You know what I'm talking about, that whole topic? I'm talking about Ashley's freaking, the other guy, right? That's what I'm talking about. Ashley's Bill, the dude she pegs, right? That's what I'm talking about. I'm just not saying that name. I'm just not talking about him. And come to find out, it's a thing. It's a big thing. Like, there's a lot of toxic dudes out there who literally beat the... Listen, I'm not going to say who it is, but there is a woman I know right now. A woman, I was at her house, okay? I was at her house, and she said, and I was talking about how it affected me, about this whole me being known for male narcs putting things up the ass. And she said that hit home. And then she goes into a fucking drawer or some shit and pulls out like a 13-inch black thick-ass dildo. And I'm like, oh my God. And she said, he bought this for himself. And then listen, and this dude would hit her. This dude was abusive, talk down to her, isolate her, clown her, and then these male narcs are twisted, man. And then would say, put this in my ass and call me a bitch. I'm like, how do you shit after that? Like, honestly, yo, if y'all gay, I don't care if you're gay. I honestly don't give a shit if anybody gay. I don't give a damn what you do. As long as you ain't hurting nobody else, I don't give a damn what you're doing with any part of your booty. I don't give a shit. But listen, the cognitive dissonance is real in dudes who hit women and then want to get fucked in the ass by it. I don't understand. I don't understand it. How do you be grandiose? How do you act like a tough guy if you're going to hit a woman and then go, baby, peg me in the butt? I don't understand. And apparently it's a big thing, yo. It is a big thing. So that's what I'm known for. Anyway, that's the whole story, because that's what I'm known for now. And it all started with you, Gap. You, Shellback, and Red, and every asshole from when from year one, author Stephen Walton, year one, saying Steve putting coffee in his ass. I do not put coffee in my ass. I do not do none of that. I don't no ass play. I ain't fucking trees. I ain't none of that. None of that. All right, but now I'm known for it. That's what I'm known for. I'm the guy who is most famously known for talking about narcissists putting things in their ass because I put coffee in my ass and fuck trees. And that is not cool. That is not cool, Gap. You did that shit. You did that shit. Fucked up. And it's not a midget. No, I don't. That's not a. Where did this? That was an Ashley thing. She likes midgets. No, I don't. That's not. It's not. I understand. I understand. I'm done. I can't. This is fucked up. Hail my brother. Hail my brother. Oh fuck. All right. Let's see. That's fucked up, and you're absolutely right. So.
Don't be saucy with me, Bernays.
I could be up.
Don't be.
That's fucked up. I love you, dude. It's good to see you, man. What's up, memes? You should rewind in about 5 minutes. Gap came through here. Maybe talk about males putting things up their ass. I don't do that. I don't do that. That's not my thing. As Veteran with Beth says, I happen to know it's a thing, but I wouldn't participate. Listen, Beth, your narcissist had a whole trunk of dildos. You already dropped the fucking beans on that. A whole trunk of used dildos. Like, how many dildos does a male narcissist need to put in their ass? I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't understand. Yeah, so I think I pretty much blew my load. I think I pretty much blew my load already. A trunk, yes, Kevin, a trunk of dildos. Beth's narcissistic ex had a trunk full of dildos in his ass. I don't understand. Why is it a thing? Don't make no damn sense. I just right. The only thing that should be in your butt is a colonoscopy. Look, I don't even go to doctors. You know what? I can have anything wrong up my ass right now, but not a single doctor has looked in my butt. That's it. I'm not. That's how I feel about it. Exit only. Fuck. Use it once, then toss it. No, oh God, I'm done. All right. So listen. Yeah, Walton does his own colonoscopy. Don't let him tell you otherwise. Listen, not a fucking fingertip, Gap. Not a fingertip. Not a curious nudge. All right, nothing. All right, and it's not. And look, I am secure in my sexuality. I don't need to explore shit. Nothing. Lord, Kevin says one narc I knew with was so straight acting, but extremely obsessed with raping guys. Yeah, that's gay as fuck. No, no, I haven't. I need to buy some. I gotta buy new ones. And that's pretty disgusting. That is gross. Yes, Erica, that's disgusting. Disgusting. And when Narc X comes back, listen. If Narc X sends a new supply to come get it, that will be the most joyous moment of my life. I'm gonna hand him them dildos. I'm gonna hand him that dildos. These are yours. I'm gonna be straight faced about it. And these are yours. This is yours. In a banjo. In a fucking banjo. He said, yes, and you're very secure when you screw midgets. I don't screw midgets. I don't understand the whole midget. When did this? Was this like toward the end? Have I forgotten about that? I don't do that. I don't listen. I like short women. That's because I'm a short dude, but not that short. You know what I mean? I don't care. Like, is it if they proportion like a hobbit, maybe, you know? I'm not saying I'd fuck a hobbit. I'm saying like if they were proportioned, like you know how they proportion, not with the big feet, but like human. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Kevin says, I think that's literally they're obsessed with narcs, with shit ass puss. Semantic narcissists. Semantic narcissists. Ones who create attention, grandiosity, control, negative fuel, positive supply through sex. Cerebrals, I don't know if that's a cerebral thing. Cerebral narcissist thing. You know what I mean? Like I don't think Sam Vaknin's throwing anything up his ass. Professor Vaknin is not putting dildos in his ass. All right? Like, I don't think that's happening. Because he's smart. His narcissism comes through with his intelligence, his intellect. And I respect that. Like, I don't even think a curious finger, maybe a curious finger at some point, but like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm not trying to guess. Fingers stay clean so yours can get dirty. Oh, God. Matt, stop. I'm trying to change the conversation. I'm trying to stay. It's listen. All right. We're talking about narcs. All right. That's what we're talking about. Anyway. So circling back, I'll just go over everything real quick and sum up. So whether or not you have been through a narcissistic relationship, if you've been through any type of abusive relationship, or if you've resonated into your life people who have hurt you over and over again, if you've accepted those types of people back into your life, then you've most likely ignored your intuition and you look for those people because you had something within you that needed to be resolved. You know, your codependency, weak boundaries, abandonment issues, father wounds, mother wounds, all of these things and more. Like attracts like. And when you have something within you, a toxicity and unhealed trauma within you, you are going to resonate in people to your life because like attracts like. You're going to resonate them in. And for those of you that have been through a toxic situationship or manipulationship with a narcissist, really dig deep if you haven't already. Don't allow yourself to get to a point in life where you are angry at everything, where you're defensive about everything, you just think everybody's a narc, everybody's a liar. I'm never going to find love. Nobody's honest. That means you're not healed. That is unhealed talk. If you have to gather together in clusters of like-minded people who all seem to run in cycles of negativity, you are definitely not healed. You are resonating people around you that because they are like you. Like attracts like. Keep yourself be observant of these things in yourself and in that of others. And if you keep running in routines in your life where you're defeating yourself over and over again, the problem might be you. And that doesn't mean you should fall into a collapsing depression or isolation of shame. It has nothing to do. Face that shame. Do what the most toxic of toxic people do, whether they're just run-of-the-mill trolls or they are full-on personality disorders. Do what they refuse to do. Do the work. Look at yourself. Go into the grimy parts of yourself. Really take a look at who you are, why you do what you do, why you run in cycles of self-defeat. Take a look at that. Face that fear. Face that damage. Untangle it. Go through the mess of it. Break down. Cry if you got to. Have the nightmares. Dig into your past. Look at your childhood. Look at your parents. Look at the events that unfolded in your life that you ran from or may have possibly caused you to begin running in cycles where your fight or flight is in reverse. You're fighting for the wrong things and running from the right things. You face those things, you face those fears, and you heal them properly, it turns into wisdom, and you can integrate that into yourself. And you become stronger. You become more spiritually aligned, more authentic. You get a greater connection with Source, greater connection with the divine, with God. That will open up avenues in your life and resonate people into your life that are going to be on your level. When people leave your life after you go through a change and you evolve, you can miss them. Maybe they're not meant to be around you anymore. Maybe they're not on your level. They're not on your fush level. They're not on your frequency. And that's okay. And I guarantee you, because I'm dealing with this right now, you get to a point where you're just so beyond everything, and you look back and you can see who was talking to who. You can see clearly, like I do, that my ex was used. Once the fake people around me and my haters understood that my ex was what she was doing to me and how she was destroying me and how it was breaking down. Once my fake friends realized they couldn't manipulate and use me anymore, they turned on me. And not only that, but they also set up the background with the other haters, people who've never liked me, that they were friends with. And I said, that's okay. You know, we all have different types. No, like attracts like. Understanding now, years later, looking back at the people they streamed with, hung out with, left me for, the same exact people that were around my ex are their buddies and have been their buddies for a long time. While they were talking shit, they were dogpiling on me because they couldn't use me anymore. They never liked me in the first place. They're just using me. And for the longest time, I wanted to get revenge on them for doing what they did, because that's fucking evil, man. And trust and believe, like that's a sneaky, low, weak maneuver. If you have to gather people into a group, if you have to literally change others' minds about a person, if you have to use someone falling apart and going through an abusive situation in order to use as framework for your smear campaigns and lies, those are slimy, weak-ass people. I don't need revenge, and you won't either. You just be done. I don't hate, I'm just done. The truth always comes to light. Be consistent with yourself as you heal. If you're going through a lot of inner work, especially if you're going through a lot of inner work, like you don't even have to be under the kind of duress that I was under, but you just going through that inner work because you've got to kind of reopen old wounds and stitch them back together properly. Anybody around you who's toxic is going to show their face because they're going to use that as an opportunity. Oh my God, that person's healing. We've got to step on them right now. Oh my God, that person might see that we're fake. Well, we've got to smear campaign them right now before they figure out we've been using that person for years. They will immediately go on the attack, because when you heal, you elevate yourself, you go to a higher frequency, you're going to the next level, and your light irritates demons. That's what it is. And a couple other words too, just from my own personal experience, because I am not, although we are all unique, we all run in the same, we can all be the same. Anybody out there who's like a real authentic person, like if people just get upset with you for no reason, if you just irritate people for no reason, like out of nowhere, it's always happened and you just can't understand why, that might be because you're so authentic that you piss off fake people. That's what it is. Somebody just out of nowhere doesn't like you, or is sneaky and deceptive, or just like has no choice but to spew negativity at you, find a reason to hate you. The reason may be because you are authentic. Even if you're unhealed, you are as authentic as you can be, and they are fake. And fake people project, just like anybody projects. Those of you that were in toxic relationships like myself, like I did this, I saw the best in somebody that wasn't there. I saw the best in somebody and it wasn't there. It was my projection. And I thought that if I hurt myself, if I embarrassed myself and hurt myself enough and destroyed myself over and over again, that it would open this magical box inside of them and they would have empathy and love and understand what I sacrificed. No. And that goes not only just for relationships, but also family dynamics and fake friends. toxic family and fake friends. They don't care. They'll watch you keep breaking yourself over and over and over again. They're laughing at you. They love it. They love that you're breaking yourself. They absolutely love it. Every fake person, when you accept them back after they've betrayed you or done something that was abhorrent because you saw the best in them, they're laughing at you. They manipulated you. They're laughing at you. Understand that. If you're a person who feels very comfortable in the light and the dark, like me, I'm very comfortable in light or dark. Then if you're around people that are light, that have lighter attitudes, and you go dark for a moment, it will confuse them. If you're in your darkness and you resonate around people that are in their darkness, then you go light, that will confuse them. Not all of us can work in these two veins. But if you happen to be someone like that, first off, balance is key. Emotional control is key. Don't go too far into the shadow because you can go toxic. This helps me a lot when I mirror narcs because I can go into that shadow realm and I can go with them on that level. And then I can go right over to the light. And it confuses the living shit out of them. They don't understand. But if you don't have that control, if you vacillate into either side too far, you will hit. There's a toxic realm in both. All right. There's a toxic realm in good and bad, in light and dark. There are toxicities that exist in both. Balance is key. Balance is the key. So those are just things that I learned because those are relative to who I am. And it will also help you to understand why you had conflicts with some people or why they misunderstood you or why they thought you were someone that you weren't. Because some people are just, we're all built different, right? Some people are just in a certain way of light or a certain way of shadow. And for those people who can go between the two, you'll confuse others. I could be, and so y'all see me on my videos, like you Dragonstorm content, if you're watching Instagram and TikTok, probably back in the day from Dragonstorm, YouTube. I can do videos where I'm like the angry RRR guy. That's my shadow. And then I can do videos where I'm inspirational. That's my light. I can go both. I can work in both. It's an easy thing for me. When I was a fandom menace historian, I worked in both. It was confusing, and I get that. But always, no matter who you are, or what level, what part of healing you're in, or what part of life you're in, if you've hopefully never had to deal with one of these hoovering hobgoblins or any type of personality disorder, which you probably have. You probably have. You just didn't know. Or you were a put together enough person that you weren't going to be manipulated or used, and that narcissist or psychopath said, it's not worth my time. Not going to get fuel, not going to be able to manipulate them. Understand, no matter who you are, that whenever you come across something that creates a deep fear inside of you, face that fear. Fear can be healthy, but not if you move from fear. And if it's a fear that causes you to move in toxic ways, to defeat yourself, to look bad, to look down upon yourself, to lose respect for yourself, have no self-belief, that's running in cycles of perpetual self-defeat. And that is because you're moving from fear. Fear can be healthy, but moving from it is not. If it's a deep fear, face it, turn it into wisdom, learn about yourself, integrate it into who you are, and become more authentic. And try to always be the best for you. Not everybody deserves a seat at your table. People will lie to you. There are expert manipulative liars out there. I've been a YouTuber for 5 years. I've met a shit ton of these people on YouTube. They'll lie straight to your face and convince you that they're on your level and right there with you and they got your back while they're talking shit about you to other people because they're offended or intimidated by your ability and talents. Some people just want to copy you, destroy you, and move on. Understand that you're going to run into these people. Anybody that you work with, anybody that you have at your table, you're exchanging power with. You're giving your energy to. So be wary of whom you let at your table. Use discernment. People will show you who they are through actions. Words don't mean shit. If a person proves themselves time and time again by action to be your friend, then their words have meaning. But until they have proven themselves time and time again, their words don't mean shit. And also, you don't need to always call out a liar. I did that a lot back in the day. I understand why that worked against me. Because, like I said, toxic people collect together in clusters. And if you trigger one snake in the nest, the whole nest fucking goes crazy. That and people who have learned lessons that I have now learned in my life saw what I was doing and understood the travesties that I was making, the mistakes that I was making. You don't listen. I have encountered people from my past that I have engaged with over the last several months that have shown me who they are because I'm more observant now. I can sense them as well. I can sense what they're going to, why they're doing what they're doing, and why they're saying what they're saying. Walton's a psychic. Trust me. You don't have to trust me. I know. And I have worked with these people and felt their intentions and watched their actions, and I need to call them out. They know what they are. I know what they are. I don't need to say it. Sometimes you don't need to say it. Protect your peace, brothers and sisters. Protect your peace. Watch what you have at your table. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. If you heal and you're doing the right thing, if you're really looking at the problems that you've had in your life and you are getting over them and facing them and integrating them, becoming authentic, not only will this spiritual journey be a beautiful one, you will open up doors that you never knew existed, opportunities. You're going to get rid of people that just aren't there for you, or people that were toxic, or just friends that you just don't sync up with anymore. And that's okay. That's fine. That's a natural thing. The more authentic you become, the more healed you become, the more you go on this journey, guys, the more you know about yourself, the stronger you are. Good and bad. Accept the good and the bad. Love yourself. Love yourself enough to also learn how to say no to people, how to cut people off. And nostalgia is a beautiful thing to have. Don't move from it. Sometimes people were in your life during that time for a reason. It's probably a lesson. And they ain't in your life no more because you already learned that lesson, or you should have. And if you let people back in your life that have already hurt you, then you ain't learned shit. And your angels and your spirit team is going to come down on you harder. One thing that I learned year after year, allowing a person to, and people, not just the one person, it was several people, but back into my life after proving that they had hurt me, that they did not love me, that they didn't have my best interest at heart, they were not my friends, was first off how hard my head was. But the amount of time that we can spend refusing to learn lessons that are necessary for our growth and development, simply because we are clinging on to toxic cycles within ourselves and trying to fool us into believing it's love. Hurting yourself is not love. Taking too long to learn something is not love. That's hating yourself. That's refusing to change. So when life teaches you a lesson, no matter how hard it is, just accept it. Accept it, recognize it, integrate it, and move on. And never, ever, ever, ever allow yourself to miss anyone who proves that they have never been your friend, that they have never loved you, that they have never been there to help you. You don't have to call them out. You don't have to do that. You don't need that entanglement anymore. But accepting them back is hating yourself. It's not learning your lessons. Love yourself, love your God, love your soul, love your spirituality, love your life, and progress forward. I love y'all. All right, so I want to go through the chat one more time, and then we're probably going to end it. Let's see. Y'all are fucking. Eastern. Eastland says, I forgave idiots who are shallow as mud puddles and may not be narcissists. Forgive and forget what drug addicts and repeat offenders ask you to do. Right. Yeah, I mean, toxicity is an addiction. Running in toxic cycles is an addiction. I was addicted to a degree. I was addicted to a victimhood narrative. I would create cycles of self-defeat. This is why I kept keeping friends around me and attracting lovers who were only there to hurt me, that I knew would eventually stab me, that I knew were selfish, that, had proved through their associations and through subtleties, even subtleties that I just overlooked. It didn't matter. It didn't even, or overtures, or like these grand overtures of betrayal. Those types of people, they're addicted to toxicity. They're addicted to running in negative cycles. They're addicted to smearing people, destroying others, and not facing themselves, not fixing themselves, and attacking other people, and creating drama, and living in hate. All because they don't want to fix themselves. They're addicted to that. And so it's the same vein of things. It's all low vibrational, honey. You know that. It's all low vibrational. Forgive yourself, drop the bricks, forgive yourself for being a stooge or a loyal fool or allowing yourself to be manipulated. Forgive yourself for whatever you have to forgive. Give that forgiveness, meaning by never doing it again. Give that forgiveness, meaning by healing yourself, knowing yourself, owning your shit, being a better person. That's how you give it meaning. I love. One mentions, thanks for the opinion. I didn't presume the friendship was still there if it ever really was. You have to, first off, you have to question it. Listen to your instincts, one man show. Listen to you're not a spiritual cat, right? Because listen to your instincts. Your instincts will always tell you. Now, our instincts, our intuition can be skewed by our own biases and by our own unhealed damage, especially if we're like I did. Like I was living in cycles of self-defeat. My intuition told me plenty of times, so-and-so is calling me up and asking me these questions because so-and-so is fishing for information from this group of people. And I know that, but I'm going to overlook that because I love so-and-so and I don't want them to leave my life. And I'm looking at the best in them. No, that person was not my friend. That person was never my friend. That person loved drama. And oddly enough, one or two of those people might have been, in the last so-and-so of time, actually come at me, wanting me to love them again because they're getting karma for the nasty shit they've done to me and other people. And no, I'm not going to scold them. I'm not going to tell them I know. Not worth it. Some people are not worth being in your life, one man show. Have strong boundaries. Have discernment, confidence in yourself, and standards of behavior. Standards of what friendship is. You'll know innately. You should know innately what they are. And if a person does not respect you, does not respect your boundaries, does not fulfill their end of what friendship is, it may never have been there. It may never have been there. Don't beat yourself up about that. The win is recognizing, even if it took like an extreme of them like outright lying and stealing your shit and being a piece of trash, even if that's still a win because you understand. You have a better understanding of the people in your life. Don't take it. You can be angry. We all go through those emotions, sad or angry or whatnot, but like by the time you've worked through it, it should be thank you for the lesson. Now I know. Always learn the most lessons you can from a situation. Let's see. Hold on. It says, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, you're singing? Did I make a reference? Did someone else make a reference? I have no idea. Only Sith deals in absolutes. My man. Yeah, the black and white thinking. Good point, meme. So the black and white thinking, that is a sign of a grandiose character. That is also that's a sign of toxicity. We all live in gray. We all live in the gray. That's why I said find that balance. Like I was talking about finding the balance within me, finding the emotional control between the light and the dark, because we all have light and dark. We all have we all have masculine, feminine energy. We all think this is the matrix of who we are. Some of us have more than others. Some of us decide to stay more in one than the other, and that's fine as long as you're not hurting anyone else. Live how you decide to live. But when a person who instantaneously goes to you are this or you are this, like as the root of their thinking, then that's toxic thinking, because not everything is black and white. However, when you are dealing with someone who has proven themselves to be like negative in your life, someone who is not a friend, cut that out, cut them off. You can file that away. Dealing with others if you decide to put enough energy into that connection, if you deem it worthy enough, listen to your intuition, listen to your instincts, and of course, compassion. Not everyone deserves your compassion. Don't be a bleeding heart. Don't be I used to be a bleeding heart. Don't be a bleeding heart. But when you, for those that you decide to show that compassion, understanding into, might be a family member going through a drug addiction. It might be somebody who is trying to fight their toxic behaviors, who is trying to change, and they revert back. Sometimes we take a step back in our healing journey. Sometimes we all do. We all do it. But whoever it is, and you decide to put your passion, you decide to put your compassion into, then yeah, you've got to understand the different variables, the variations of thought and feeling, what the environment of what they're going through. And that's not black and white. You can't do that and think in completely black and white terms. No, I'm not reading. God damn it. And I'm just skipping over I am skipping over some. Kevin says we don't do that black and white thinking as empaths. I did when I was toxic, when I was unhealed. There was definitely a time in my life. I did abandon it for a while, but when the last narcissist came into my life, I did go back to that when she was destabilizing me and playing games with my head and triangulating me with other dudes and challenging my masculinity and doing all kinds of fucking completely manipulative fuck shit behind the scenes. I did that's a static behavior. That's a hyper defensive or hyper aggressive behavior. I did come to that point. And one of the things so like narcissists or psychopaths, sociopaths, people, manipulative personality types, they will come into your life and they will, if they don't already like understand, listen to you, like the love bombing phase of a narcissist, they will understand and mirror you back what your insecurities are, what things you've healed in your life, and then they'll seek to revive those things. Like I had put that black and white thinking away in my 20s. I had gone past that and said, now the world's gray, everything's a different variation. And then, here I am, so my instincts about certain of the rogues that I was working with, that they were reporting back to other haters, and like reporting back like private conversations to other people outside of Rogue. And that instinct existed, but she used my lack of clarity as a way to make me hyper defensive and aggressive, along with what she was doing behind the scenes, to look at these people, some of which like were not bad. Some like not all the old team was bad, but like to look at the ones who were bad or doing fuck shit and like really get hyper defensive in black and white and my thinking with them, which is probably why the ones who did backstab me and then smear campaign me for the last year and a half and collected my enemies and worked with their flying monkeys, why they stabbed me the way they did, because she was making me, they were fighting her. It was weird. I was being triangulated by like the toxic YouTubers that I was working with, and then by her against me, along with the people that she hung out with on YouTube, who were also friends with them and her, and everybody was just like triangulating, and everybody was trying to get, create confusion and get negative fuel using me, and against one another at the same time too. But all of that confusion created that hyper defense, that hyper aggression in me. And so I went back to that black and white thinking, and I'm an empath. I'm more than that. I'm more psychic than that. But yeah, I mean, an unhealed empath, in the terms you're using, can absolutely think in black and white terms, can also become dark, especially if they get a little Machiavellian in them. They become like a dark triad, dark empath type. Absolutely can. But true healers, truly empathic people who have worked on themselves or are working on themselves will know the difference and not think in terms of black and white. Those terms are static. And if you are existing in a static way of thinking or being, then you do not have the ability to see different perspectives. And the ability to sit in someone else's shoes, the ability to sit back, try and remove yourself as much as you can from a situation and look at it from a third perspective, is so valuable when it comes to interpersonal relationships and also observations. It's very, very useful. So yeah, I just want to touch on that because that's the black and white thing. Thank you, memes, for bringing that up. Let's see. Easton says, I now have a sister demanding my trust, demanding she run the plan while not telling me stuff, and I'm facing medical and financial problems. Must take it, she thinks. She was being unpleasantly surprised. She was unpleasantly surprised. Yeah, of course she was. That's grandiosity right there. That's that's a grandiosity. That's someone who believes that you're too dumb. And whether she's being malicious, like whether there's a manipulative plan in play to screw you out of something or to make you feel subordinate, or she is simply just egotistical, very egotistical. It all comes from grandiosity. And when you move from that belief, you're whether you know it or not, you're looking at other people as lower than you. So you're not going to take into consideration their feelings or their thoughts or what's going to happen to them as fully as it should be. Depending on the level of your grandiosity, if you're like a narcissistic grandiosity, most especially not, because you don't matter. You're just you're a thing. You're an object. You're a toy in their playground. She says, Mommy will be stressed if I did not take abuse and give it bad planning for my sister. Oh, well, Mommy will have to be stressed. Yeah, not taking abuse. Yeah, I got that. Right now, like my narcissistic dad sent me a couple messages a couple days ago, and I haven't looked at them because he needs to know his place. Like, that's where I'm at. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to respond, but I know Narc Dad. Like, I understand it. I understand narcissism now. I just spent the last 2 years educating myself on NPD. I understand. So, like, the last time that we were around, he was playing fuck games. He was playing manipulation games, evaluation games. And so I'm not going to have it. So, okay, if you're going to act that way, the punishment is you don't get priority. And this is because you got, dude, narcissists are grown toddlers. They are grown toddlers having a fucking fit. All right, sitting in a high chair, throwing their bob on, spitting out SpaghettiOs. All right, these are clowns dancing in Satan's circus. Like, you got to treat them like they're little kids. They're having emotional fits. That's how you have to treat them. So I will respond to that at some point. And then the next time, if he acts right, I will reward him, because you have to treat them like children, like toddlers. I will reward him the next time that he tries to communicate with me or wants something. I will respond right away. I will give him father respect. And if he goes back to fuck shit, I'm going to gray rock, because you don't fucking matter. I already know you're gay, Mark. And it'll be the same thing over and over again until he learns. My dad's kind of old at this point. Like, there's no sense in trying to educate him on his disorder. He probably wouldn't even care anyway. And God's forbid, y'all know what happens when you self-aware narcs. Y'all understand, right? As soon as this happened with my ex, as soon as I tried to educate her on the fact that she was a narcissist, I was the narcissist. And then all her flying monkeys, Walton's the narcissist. And all the fucking toxic people that were joining in on the fray, Walton's the narcissist. You know what I mean? Like, there's no point. I'm not even going to go through it with my dad. I'm not going to try to explain NPD to my dad and try and help. I'm not going to do, you know what? Just let his narc ass go on through life and then die. Because I don't want to deal with that in my family. Well, my son's a narcissist. I'm not dealing with that. I'm not dealing with it. I'm not dealing with it. Grown toddlers having fits, y'all. Let's see. Couple more. Kevin says narcs and their flying monkeys are good at being friends with everyone. Yep, it's inauthentic. That's why we have to get rid of these common acquaintances. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Like, okay, so there are a few people that I still have in my sphere that have proven themselves time over time. They've proven themselves time and again that they do have a level of friendship or caring with me. But at the same time, they still hang out. And one or two of them still stream with that awful group of fake ass wannabe, toxic, projecting, awful, just like the far left motherfuckers and guinea pig collectives that do the same shit, that the same backstabbing, projecting, lying ass shit that the people in Hollywood do and the far leftists, and I think the same shit that they, same types. And any acquaintances between us, I cut out. I have seen that crew of people starting to probe out and try and get around people that I do now talk to, which is another tactic that narcissists will use. They will, like, if they recognize that you won't associate with groups that they're involved with, they will try and get involved with any groups you do associate with, so that to push you out, to make you cut them off. I'm not doing that no more. I understand who you are and I understand the games now. So, like, okay. You know, you're like, well, game on, motherfucker. I'm on a whole new level. Like, you don't affect me. But like on the mainstay, if there are people that like you don't really necessarily need in your life, that refuse to stop talking to toxic people or narcissistic people or anybody who's come after you in the past, cut them the fuck out. You don't need them. You don't need them. No, go ahead. I've done that plenty of times. Plenty of times. When fucking Delarose was coming after me for EVS, his buttmaster. When the Comics Gate guys were coming after me, I was going out there and trying to be author Stephen Walton again. I was going on like all these different channels. Now people on Rogue, this is like a year and a half ago. Like I was trying to rebuild my shit. And the first thing that they did was take their toxic fucking sluts and manginas and putting them in those groups. And at the time, I couldn't deal with it. So I would cut them out. But where have their groups gone? Where have those groups gone? Where have those groups gone? Where have those associations gone? Nowhere. Because you're dealing with low vibrational toxic people. That's it. Narcissists and toxic people will always show their ass. They're not there to help anyone but themselves. And with Walton removed from the equation, the reason for that narcissist or that toxic person being around that crowd, they are going to create fuck shit within that crowd. And if they see it, they see it. And if they don't, to their own detriment, it is what it is. But I ain't going to be there. You ain't getting fuel from me. That's got to be your attitude, Kevin. That's got to be your attitude. Well done, sir. I'm not stressing. How you doing? Hail. Their secret, the secret is how they know the secret is they know the pleasures. Yes, the earthly pleasures, the physical, animalistic pleasures, which is why semantic narcissists like have fucking harems of goddamn victims. That's why they have multiple supplies. That's why my ex had tons of dick. You know, like they know, she knew what the pussy was. You know, like she knew how to. But it's all about knowing those pleasures. It's all about those very base things: drugs, sex, porn. The baseness, the grandiosity or the feeling of fake self-worth, the inflated sense of ego that can be created when you gather together with someone else to hate on another person, to project, to mess with, to talk shit, because you create this grandiosity, this inflated ego within yourself. That's a base, animalistic, negative energy. And they know that very well, which is why semantics have multiple lovers. That's why it's why good chicks stay with dudes who hit them. Well, almost not good. They don't have any self-worth, but they stay with dudes who hit them and lie to them and then shove dildos up their asses. Like, they don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense. But it's a thing. All right. Let's see. One or two more. I know you guys are talking up. I don't want to leave so early. I'm not stressing. Says someone who manipulates others will also know how to talk in situations for desired behavior. Absolutely. Good talkers. Charisma, guile, and deception. Those are the three things that a narcissist has. They work on it. A manipulator works on that. Con men work on that. And one of the things that they will use to hook you is the emotional manipulation, the roller coaster. Get you emotionally high, bring you down, and then introduce what they want from you, or introduce the way of thinking they want to manipulate you with. Emotional control is key, ladies and gentlemen. Emotional control is key. Recognize when someone is trying to trigger your fight or flight, or trying to get you into a heightened state of emotional, to a heightened state of emotion, which then creates instability in your ability to discern and maintain control of the situation, most especially yourself. One Man Show says, I had a cousin who clearly stated that he only had useful friends. I don't believe I ever heard from him again. And that was over 20 years ago. So that's a manipulator. That is definitely a manipulator. Like, to state that is, that definitely comes off as manipulative. I'm trying to figure out how to put this. All right, so the people that you have around you, the people you have like at your table, as I was saying earlier, only keep a small group. Only invite the right people to your table. The right person at your table may be someone who needs you to help elevate them. You know, they're not a bad person. They may have toxic traits or they may have negative thinking. They're actually there to have their vibration raised. You know, so just make sure everybody that sits at your table are people who love you, even if they're unhealed. As long as they're trying to heal, as long as we're on that path. But if a person who only has useful friends, like that's no wonder you ain't heard from them. You ain't useful. You are not useful because that person, that cousin, cannot get anything from you and they cannot manipulate you. One Man Show, the minute that I got to a point where I was so defensive, and now that was toxic. It was a toxic reaction. It's because of everything I was going through, but I was so hyper defensive that some of those old friends couldn't manipulate me anymore. That's when they cut and run. That's when they didn't just cut and run. They set up a narrative that I was really toxic and I was a horrible person. And then they went to smearing me for a year because they couldn't manipulate me anymore. Like the people will get upset. Like, thank God that person just went away in your life. If you have people in your life that like have been dependent upon their ability to manipulate and use you, and you become aware, then you're public enemy number one. They're gonna hate you. They're gonna hate you. You're an awful person. You're everything that they are. And they're going to tell everybody and collect as many people as they can that also feel the same way, because they're all toxic and they're all just like manipulative, low vibrational people. And they're not worth any time in your life. Good God. The crabs in the bucket. Absolutely. Crabs in the bucket. Let's see. Erica says clowns dancing and Satan certain. Yeah. You know, sweetheart. You know. Yeah, okay, so let's see. One more. Two more. Narcissistic persons are empty inside. There's no person inside. There are only offensive, defensive behaviors. Makes sense when you know there is no person at the center of the storm. You have no idea where I want to go from that comment. That comment is wonderful. I love the way you phrased that. Yes, there sometimes there is no person at the center of that storm. That storm is full of shit. It is a shit storm. It is a shit storm, a bullshit storm. So yeah, man, you know, it's all the grandiosity. Narcissistic people, they depend on their false self. They depend on that narcissistic shell. They depend on the falsehood. They depend. That's why they build that grandiosity. The grandiosity is the narcissistic shell. And in order to sustain that shell of delusion, of self-delusion, they have to destroy other people. Actively destroy other people. Get external validation in order to energize that field of bullshit. And if they don't have that, then we know what happens. They fall into narcissistic collapse. Erica says, my exes both showered every day. But one of their feet smelled really bad and the other has a weird smell to it. Wow. I mean, that's nasty, Erica. I don't even want to know. That's like some weird devil shit. That's weird as fuck. We're gonna have to talk later because I don't like that. I'm getting it. I'm not. That's weird as shit. Do I smell? Is that what you're trying to say? No. I'm not stressing. Says the narcs of contact don't really shower. At least I think oh God, what is it with these narcs not showering? Is this a thing? Listen, y'all, if narcs not showered is a thing, please let me know, because I didn't realize this. I mean, when Narcix came over, she was pretty fucking stinky. Like, and that was because her backdoor Bill is a stinky person, shoving things up his ass. But I didn't know that, like, is not showered. Is that a thing? Is that a thing? Please, because I need to make a video that is more successful than male narcs putting shit up their ass, putting things up their butt. I need something better. I need something better. Let's see. Oh, really? I'm not. I'll forget it. You know what? I'm wiping it from my head. I am wiping it from my head. All right, hon. I'm my head. That's the dude. Now, I don't understand. We're not going there tonight. Like, I'm getting done. We're done with you tonight. In fact, if you sleep and fester in the dark energy, you woke up feeling more burnt. Just got to remember it's your driving force. Hale. Easton says, one psychiatrist says the false self is protected, a dead, injured child that can never be reached, which is kind of sad. Like, a lot of people, when I talk to, I try and answer people who have questions that I feel need answering on like Instagram and TikTok. And I should probably do that more here, but my YouTube life hasn't been all that active. But that, like, people ask me, is there a way that they can heal? Like, is there a chance that a narcissist can heal? And the truth of the matter is, there is a very low chance. It's a low chance. It is such an astronomically low chance, especially if they are older, if they're like in their 30s and 40s, 50s. And it goes lower with time. But there's such a low chance that it's like, just no. No needs to be my default answer. It needs to be no, absolutely not. It needs to be my default answer. Because the very nature of being trauma bonded to a narcissist in a manipulationship is that you stay there banging your head up against this wall. First off, because you don't love yourself. I didn't. You gotta learn how to love yourself. But secondly, you want to believe so bad that there is a good person in there. Because when they love bomb you, when they're trying to hook you back in with the love bomb part, like, they can be really convincing that they have a heart. They don't. They just don't. It's all manipulation and lies. It's all selfishness and grandiosity. But there is this small chance that, yes, they can begin to untangle and heal their inner child. But really, what is a healed narcissist going to look like? They're still going to need external validation. They are still going to have some type of shell. They are still going to have the default to manipulate. So bring back dueling. I mean, really, Eastland, like, I'm telling me to be cold-hearted about that, but we got to bring back dueling. We need to take him out on the White House lawn like fucking Hamilton did. Just fucking shoot him. Like, I don't know what else to say. I don't know. Put him on an island. The answer is this. This is the answer. Yes, the answer is no. The answer is, this is what we're going to do, guys. We need to get a petition. We need to buy an island out in the fucking Atlantic or the Pacific somewhere, okay? And we're going to just, like, airdrop all the narcissists. We're just going to tag them up. We'll tag them. We'll shoot them with tags or something. We're going to put them all on an island. They can all sit on an island, and they can suck, fuck, manipulate, hurt, cheat, beat each other as much as they want. And we'll airdrop drugs. We'll airdrop food and drugs. All right, the shitty food, like ramen noodles. We'll airdrop ramen noodles and, like, fucking, and drugs. And a lot, and you know what? A lot of blue chew. And we're going to look all kinds of blue chew. Like, we're going to give it all to them. And they can sit around and hate one another and triangulate each other and shove coconuts up their ass all day long, all day and night. And they won't be bothering us. And I think that's more humanitarian than, like, bring back dueling, right? I think that's more humanitarian. We can call it the island of buttfuck. That's what we'll call it. It'll be the narc fuck island. That's what it'll be. And I think that's a great answer and a great ending to this. And I love you. They'll create. No. The island is very small. All right, and there's going to be warning buoys around the whole island. Listen. You're talking about narcissists. Even if there are some cerebrals in there, the semantics are going to be so busy sucking, fucking, and graping one another, like everybody, like they'll become two clans. You know what I mean? You'll have the semantics and you'll have the cerebrals. And although the cerebrals may be able to build shit like the professor from Gilligan's Island, although they may be able to do stuff like that, all right, like a nuclear reactor out of a couple of coconuts, the semantics are going to be they're constantly going to be looking for a new high. They're constantly going to be like for a new high. remember this is the end of the world, or this is the remember this is the end. Remember that movie? Remember that movie where like it was like the end of days, and there was like trucks of freaking cannibals and psychos running around raping people and like eating them. All right, the semantics are going to get to that point. All right, and there is no way that a bunch of narcissist professors from Gilligan's Island are going to be able to protect their anuses from a mad, grapey, narc gang of post-apocalyptic cannibals, all right, that are just like just fucking stuffing Blue Chew up their ass and just looking for that next semantic high after they've already graped and triangulated one another and like done, you know what I mean, like speared each other with freaking coconut trees. You know, like there's no like eventually the semantics are going to win, all right? So I don't think they're going to be able to build any type of civilization. Really, they're going to be too busy trying to satisfy their animalistic negative creature comforts. That's what it's going to be. All right. And you know what? You know what I'm going to say? We're also going to drop a lot of cocaine on that island. We're going to drop a lot of cocaine, and that way they'll be too hyper. All right. You know, maybe some heart attacks will happen. They'll be too hyper to be able to actually do anything other than grape each other and throw things up their ass. Like that I think that's going to work. I think that is the way it should go. So I love y'all, and thank you so much. The way that you'll make it through this is understanding that there's a strong. There is a yes, absolutely. All right, I'm gonna end it with some seriousness. And the spiritual component is you resonated toxic people or narcissists into your life for a reason, because there was a like damage in you, or there was a lesson you needed to learn in order to elevate yourself, your thinking, and your beliefs in self, to heal. It's an opportunity to heal, to show you what you don't want to be. And in most cases, in my case, not most cases, but I'm going to say in my case and many others, to understand that the traumas you never faced as a child that dictated the negative or toxic behaviors, self-defeating behaviors that you ran routinely throughout your life, you did not have the ability to learn from due to the lessons that the gods, your spirit team, God tried to show you beforehand. And it had to take that one obstinate, indestructible wall, narcissistic wall, that you had to hit your head up against over and over and over again until it completely destroyed you, for you to have the ability to put yourself back together piece by piece and untangle that web of toxicity that you had built up within yourself without even realizing it, in order to face those fears, turn that into wisdom, integrate it into yourself, and become more authentic, wiser, more understanding and compassionate to you. The ability to discern who deserves your compassion. And most especially when you do this, it connects you on a deeper level to source. It opens pathways in you that allow you to begin to become the person that you were always meant to be, the person you were placed on this earth to be. That's the truth of it. I love you. Thank you for bringing that up. But when it goes to yourself, it's got to be serious with spiritual side of things, or it's not a joke, and it's not a work of fiction. Absolutely. I do joke a lot because that's my character. That's my fun side of my character. But if you are interested in actually a very serious show that deals with these topics, I co-host a show on my friend's channel, Immortal Coil. Check him out. I think the I's are ones, so it's 1 MMORTA1COI1. Immortal Coil. A crystal skull is his avatar. Check him out. We do a show. We try to do a show late on the East Coast, 2 a.m., West Coast, 11 p.m., Saturdays, where we talk about these topics. We talk about spiritual topics, and you can see the more serious side of myself in that way. Very open there. Oh, excuse me. I'm very open there. And I am eventually going to work on Raven Wolf when I want to work on some cards. And when I want to do tarot again and things like that. I talk about spiritual topics. So, but I haven't really done anything on Lodonis Ravenwolf yet. What's up, Bill? Yo, it's good to see you, dude. Actually, I'm just signing off. Guys, please check out my good friend Bill, another true motherfucker from the old indie sphere. Love you, brother. Thank you for coming by, man. I am, all right. I'm going to end it out now because my throat's getting dry. And when it comes down to just joking, that's it. I'm out. I'm done. I love y'all. So please remember to do what you have to do to look out for you. Love yourself. Have strong boundaries. Have the ability to keep control. Emotional control is key. Emotional balance is key. Observe people's actions, not their words. If they don't align, a liar stands before you. Listen to your intuition. Trust your intuition. Trust your gut. Trust that initial feeling that you get from the universe, guys. I'm telling you. And don't wait too long, because if you do, it will start going through the filter of your conscious mind. And whether you have unresolved traumas or unhealed parts of you, or you've gotten to that point, if you let your intuition sit in your conscious mind for too long, it will become something else. It will form into whatever you need to project. We all project. Please remember that. And yeah, dude, my love to you guys. Thank you so much for supporting me. Thank you to everybody on Author Stephen Walton channel, Lodonis Dragonstorm channel. For those of you from my old Walton channel, this is what I do on Dragonstorm. If you're interested in this, please subscribe to that channel. And guys, if you haven't already, take a look at my Instagram or TikTok. There is more. Actually, I'm doing more content there than I am on YouTube at present. And it's just rapid fire. It's a little easier for me to do. But I will be talking to you guys soon. Please check out this weekend on Author Stephen Walton, Rogue Entertainment. I've been doing simulcasts, but if you can come over there and give me a subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it. And check out the other rogues. Check out my rogue, my friends. We talk about entertainments. We talk about politics. We talk about things that we mostly don't get into here. I kind of got into more than I usually do on Dragonstorm tonight because I'm simulcasting on both channels. So, yeah. And please remember to, I'm going to do both outros. I am Author Stephen Walton, the fandom menace historian, your historian, born in the chats of the High Council with my brothers and sisters fighting for our modern mythologies. And I am also Lodonis Ravenwolf Dragonstorm, you seer and sage. Hail to my fellow survivors and thrivers from narcissistic abuse. Please remember to wash your hands, wash your ass, be good to each other, yet suffer no fools.
When you're born in this world, you're given a ticket to the freak show. And when you're born in America, you're given a front row seat.
For real though, clean your peen too, man. God damn it. Shower, clean, manscape.